Cool was I and logical, keen, calculating, perspicacious, acute, and astute. I was all of these. My brain was as powerful as a dynamo, as calculating as a chemist's scales, and as penetrating as a scalpel. And to think, I, only 18. Have you ever met a good-looking girl, but you realize she's not too bright in the head, so you decide not to date her? Me neither. A good-looking girl is a good-looking girl, right? And if she is dumb enough to date me, I pretty much have to say she's blonde. But I've said too much. In this story, Max, who is a college student, and he's the opposite of humble, finds his good-looking girl. But when he realizes that she has the IQ equivalent of your average goldfish, he is not discouraged. He decides he's going to teach her how to think and bring her up to the standards that he requires. Love is a Fallacy by Max Schulman. It is not often that someone so young has such a giant intellect. Take, for example, Petey Bellows, my roommate at the university. Same age, same background, but dumb as an ox. One afternoon, I found Petey lying on his bed with an expression of such distress on his face that I immediately diagnosed appendicitis. Raccoon! Raccoon? I want a raccoon coat. It just so happened I knew exactly where to find a raccoon coat. My father had worn one in his undergraduate days, and now lay in a trunk in the attic back home. It just so happened that Petey had something I wanted as well. His girlfriend, Polly Espy. I had long coveted Polly Espy. Beautiful she was, gracious she was, intelligent she was not. In fact, she veered in the opposite direction. But I believed under my guidance, I would be able to smarten her up. At any rate, it was worth a try. It is, after all, easier to make a beautiful, dumb girl smart, rather than to make an ugly, smart girl beautiful. I got back to college on Monday morning, and I threw open the suitcase to reveal the huge, hairy, gamey object that my father had worn back in 1925. Holy Toledo! Would you like it, Petey? Why, yes. What do you want for it? Your girl. Polly? You want Polly? I sat down in a chair and pretended to read a book, but at the corner of my eye I kept watching Petey. He was a torn man. At first he looked at the coat with an expression of a waiter at a bakery window, and then he looked back and set his jaw resolutely. Then he looked back at the coat with even more longing in his eyes. Well, it isn't as though as I was in love with Polly or going steady with her or anything like that. So is it a deal? It's a deal. I had my first date with Polly the following evening. I wanted to find out just how much work I had to do to get her mind up to the standard that I required. I first took Polly to a movie. Oh, gee, that was a Marvin movie. And then I took Polly to a restaurant. Oh, that was a really delish dinner. And then I took her home. Oh, I really had a strange time. I went about it as in all things, systematically. I gave her a course in logic. As a law student, I was also taking a course in logic, so I had all the facts at my fingertips. I looked at Polly. Polly, in order to first understand logic, we must recognize the common fallacies of logic. These we will take up tonight. Oh, wow, down! The first fallacy is called dicto simpliciter. Dicto simpliciter is when we unqualify a generalization. For example, exercise is good, therefore everybody should exercise. Oh, I agree. Exercise is wonderful. It builds the body and everything. Polly, exercise is good is an unqualified generalization. You can't say exercise is good because exercise is not always good. If you have heart disease, exercise is bad. Some people are ordered by their doctors not to exercise. You must say exercise is usually good, or exercise is good for most people. Do you understand? No, this is Marvy, do more. Okay, next comes hasty generalization. Listen to this. You can't speak French. Petey Bellows can't speak French. I must therefore conclude that nobody at the University of Minnesota can speak French. Really? Nobody? I was getting nowhere with this girl, absolutely nowhere. Still, I am nothing if not persistent. I continued. Next comes post hoc. Listen to this. If God can do anything, can he make a stone that is so heavy he can't lift it? Why, of course. But if he can do anything, he can lift the stone. Oh, yeah. So I guess he can make the stone? But he can do anything. I'm all confused. Polly, of course you are. Because when the premises of an argument contradict each other, there can be no argument. If there is an irresistible force, there can be no immovable object. And if there is an immovable object, there can be no irresistible force. Do you get it? Okay, listen to this one. Let's not take Bill on our picnic, because every time we take Bill on our picnic, it rains. Oh, I know somebody just like that. Eula Becker, her name was. Every time we took her on a picnic, it rained. Polly, the argument is a fallacy. You have committed post hoc if you blame Eula Becker. She doesn't cause the rain. She has no connection with the rain. Do you understand? One more chance. One more chance, I decided, but that was it. There is a limit to what flesh and blood can bear. Okay, Polly. This fallacy is called poisoning the well. Listen to this. Two men are having a debate. One man gets up and says, "My opponent is a notorious liar. You can't trust a single word he is about to say." Now, Polly, think. Think hard. What's wrong? I watched closely as she knit her creamy brow in concentration. And suddenly, the first I had ever seen, a glimmer of intelligence shone in her eyes. Why, it's not fair! It's not a bit fair. What chance has the second man got before the first man calls him a liar before he even begins talking? Right! 100% right. It is not fair. The first man has poisoned the well before the second man could drink from it. Oh, Polly, I'm proud of you. 5 grueling nights this took, but it was worth it. She was worthy of me at last. She was a fit wife for me, a proper hostess for my many mansions, and a well-suited mother for my well-heeled children. I decided to acquaint her with my feelings at her very next meeting. It was time to change our relationship from academic to romantic. Polly, we have now spent 5 wonderful evenings together. It is clear that we are well matched. A hasty generalization. How can you say we're well matched on the basis of only 5 dates? She had learned her lessons well. Polly, 5 dates is plenty. After all, you don't have to eat a whole cake to know that it tastes good. A false analogy. I'm not a cake, I'm a girl. She had learned her lessons perhaps a little too well. I decided to change tactics. Obviously, the best approach was a clear, strong, direct declaration of love. I paused for a moment while my massive brain chose the correct words. And then I began. Polly, I love you. You are the whole world to me, the moon and the stars and the constellations of outer space. Please, my darling, say that you will go steady with me, for if you will not, I will languish. I will refuse my meals. I will wander the face of the earth, a shambling, hollow-eyed hulk. There, that ought to do it. Dicto simpliciter. That did it. Will you or will you not go steady with me? I will not. And why not? Because this afternoon I promised Petey Bellows that I would go steady with him. With an immense effort of will, I modulated my voice. Okay, let's look at this logically. Look at me, a wonderful student, a tremendous intellectual, a man with an assured future. Look at Petey, a knothead, a jitterbug, a guy who'll never know where his next meal is coming from. Can you give me one logical reason why you would go steady with Petey Bellows instead of me? I certainly can. He's got a raccoon coat.